Alright guys, now before we continue, I want you to take a look down here. So I want you to move your solidify. We're going to move the solidify modifier above the subdivision surface, so it is solidifying before it is subdividing. So let's press the up arrow here to move the solidify above the subdivision surface, and take a look at what happens to the edge here, and you know what I mean. Alright, so you can see it is solidifying it first before trying to average it out between the two. Okay, so solidify first before averaging. That is how come we had that change. So if you were to subdivide, that is average before solidify, then you're gonna have a kind of hard edge. But if you were to do it the other way around, then you have a smooth edge, like it is in the reference photo. So now we're going to make the top side of this coffee machine. That is what this particular part is going to cover mostly. So we're going to move up here, and the edge here is much sharper compared to the other edges in the reference photo, right? And right now it looks a little bit less sharp. So in order to get it more sharp, let's add in another edge loop in here. Alright, left click, move that up close, or just keep it in the middle, and then dissolve the one below it. Dissolve, select again, hold alt, select that edge to select the whole edge, and then X, and select dissolve edges to get rid of it. Alright, so now we're going to make the top side here for the coffee machine. We're going to select this now, and we're going to separate this into a different object, this line alone into a different object, and use that to create the top side of this coffee machine. So press P on your keyboard, and then it says separate, and we're going to separate by selection. Alright, so click on selection, and now it has separated that particular line and made it into a new object we can edit. So if we get out of edit mode and try to click at the edge here to select the line, you can see we have the line selected now. Alright, we can go into edit mode. It's a different object now, okay, completely different. Alright, this is the first object that we separated it from, and this is the new object we made. Alright, so we're going to remove the solidify from this for now. We're going to remove it from, or let's disable it instead. So just click on this eye here to disable the solidify modifier for now. Just disable it for now. And now we're going to make the top side of this coffee machine. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to select these two vertices here, leaving the one in the middle, and also these two here, leaving the one in the middle, and I'm going to dissolve those vertices. Alright, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Select this to dissolve those vertices. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's go into top view. Let's hide this. So select this and press H on your keyboard to hide it, so we have only this. Let's get into top view now by pressing 7 on our numpad. Get into edit mode, and when you take a look here, you can see from here all the way to here is a straight line, but this one bends down a little bit, but we want to make that a straight line and not make it bend. So how do we do that? Same applies to this. How do we do that? Select one of the vertices in a straight line, alright, and then press Shift and S and say cursor to selected or cursor to active. So cursor to selected or cursor to active, and it brings the 3D cursor right onto that vertex. Alright, now select the vertex you want to straighten out, and then we want to set the pivot point to 3D cursor. Alright, and then we want to press S on our keyboard, press Y to scale in the Y axis, and then press 0. Alright, now it scales it to 0 in the Y axis based off of the 3D cursor. We're going to do the same thing here. Shift and S, cursor to selected. This time we're going to scale it in the X, and then press 0. We're going to do the same thing down here. Select this in the X axis, 0 on your numpad. because of the selected scale in the y-axis, press 0, and now we have it like this. So we're not going to need this extra vertices here in the middle, so I'm going to get rid of it for now. I'm going to get rid of these ones as well, and we're going to leave, in fact let's just leave the corner vertices alone. Okay, so dissolve all of those vertices, and we only have the corner vertices right now. So press Alt and then H. Get out of edit mode, press Alt and H to bring back the coffee machine, and let's go into edit mode and make sure that these things lie right on the edges. Okay, so as you can see, it's right on the edge, right on the edge, right on the edge, right on the edge, like that. So here's what we're going to do now. Hide this again by pressing H, select this, go into edit mode, and we're going to fill this by pressing F. Alright, press F on your keyboard to fill it, and then we're going to extrude up in the Z axis to create this edge here first. So we press E on the keyboard to extrude, E on the keyboard to extrude. So you press E on your keyboard to extrude these faces up. What it's going to do is it's going to keep these faces, but it will create a set of new faces connected to this face, like this. So if you press E, this is what you have: extrusion. Right? So let's try that again. E, extrusion, like that. So if you were to extrude and then you realize you didn't need the extrude and you want to undo it, you want to press the right button on your mouse, and that undoes it. But what happens is it doesn't delete the face you created. That face is still there. You have to manually delete it, or else it's going to cause you some troubles. Because you can see if you press G, that face is still there. Right? You don't want to have that face. Maybe you extrude and you're like, okay, no, I don't need that face anymore, let me get rid of it. You right click, that face doesn't go away, it's still there. It's either you press Ctrl and Z, or you press X and delete those vertices. So if you still have the faces, you can also press X and delete those vertices to get rid of it, like that. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to take this. We're going to take this, and I'm going to extrude it and then have this slight edge here. So we're going to have E and move it up until it's about the right amount, like that. And now we're going to delete the faces on the bottom. So we want to delete the faces on the bottom and we have the top selected. So that means we have to have the bottom selected in order to delete the faces on the bottom. So we are going to invert the selection so that it deselects the one selected right now and selects the one that are not selected. So press Ctrl, hold Ctrl, and then press I to invert the selection, like that. And then press X and delete those faces. So now you can see there are no more faces on the bottom there. Let me show you. There are no more faces on the bottom there. This is it before. It had faces, and after, no faces, like that. So now that we have this, let's select that face again, and then let's extrude again to this height here. So I'm going to press E and extrude it up like that. Right? And now we're going to insert these faces. What we're going to do is we're going to add in a new face, which will be on an inner face of this face right now with another edge loop. To do that, press I on your keyboard, and you know what I mean. So press I on your keyboard right now, and you're inserting faces right now. Okay, you're adding in a new set of face to the original face that you have right now. So we're going to insert it to about there, like that. So that is hold Control. No, wait. Insert. Press I to insert, and press I to insert, and move. Hold down your Shift, and look at the thickness value below. We want to move this to say 0.6. Right. So I want to have about 0.6 on this. That is close enough. And then left click. Now this is a mirror, alright? So we want this line to extend all the way here. We want it to extend all the way here. Alright, we want the boundary to continue. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the knife tool. We're going to use the knife tool to create this line and have it continue to that side. So we're going to go into top view now. And we're going to use the knife tool by pressing K. Press K on your keyboard to activate the knife tool. Hover your mouse over this vertex here. Left click to initiate a cut, and then move your knife over this edge here to the edge where you want to place the next cut over here, and then left click again and press press spacebar to confirm the cut, like that. So you have a cut in there. We're going to do the same thing over here. Go to the top view, press K for knife, click, and then move it here. Trying to make sure the line is straight here. Left click and then press enter or spacebar to confirm. Now we select this two and we enable merge as we did previously. Press G twice and then slide this to meet this one to merge them to it. Now remember, put it off again like that. So we're gonna go up here. I'm gonna make this a little bit more neat. Right now it looks a little bit more like a diagonal here. The shape is a little bit weird, so we're going to correct that right now by selecting this, pressing G twice, and then we'll slide this down a little bit. We'll keep it around here like that. We're gonna do the same thing here. Going to do the same thing here. Press G twice. Slide it there like this, and let's slide it like that. So let's go to the top view, and then we'll select these two faces here. Now let's select this one first. Press G twice and slide it here like this. Now we select this one as well. Press G twice and slide it here like that. Okay, let's slide it down a little bit more. So press G twice, slide it down a little bit more like that. Press G twice, slide it back a little bit more like that, so it looks more neat. Let's send it down a little bit more. Slide it there like that. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. Slide it back in, and there. So now I'm gonna select the faces in the middle. Sorry, not the faces in the middle. This edge is here, and we're gonna dissolve them to get that slope we're seeing here. So press X and dissolve those edges, and now we have the slope. For now, let's disable subdivision surface to be able to see that. So you can see the slope that I'm talking about. This is the slope we're looking for right here, like that. So now what we want to do next is we want to insert the faces again. But as you can see, these faces only exist around this side here of the coffee machine. So we're going to connect that face to this one here, and then wrap it around to the back and to the other side. So let's do that right now. We're going to select the face, change back to vertex, insert until this end here, this end right here aligns with this vertex here. Alright, so all we're going to do now is, again, let's draw this, let's fix this real quick. It happened again. So press K, left click, move that here, and this time press E to end that knife, and then make another one here. A new knife before you press space to confirm both cuts. Now select these two, enable merge, G twice, slide it to that side, merge them, and put it off like that. So now we also, like I was saying, we want this to connect to this one. Alright, so we're going to take this and then that, press Alt M and say at last, like that. And I want to take this, merge it at that one as well, take this and merge it at this, like that, until we have this. So all we're going to do next is we're going to add in another loop cut in the middle here. I'm going to add in another loop cut. Now I'm afraid I think this might be a little too less steep, so we're going to make it a little bit more angled, because I don't think it's angled enough right now. So let's go to the top and then press comma to, sorry, just change it here to median point. Alright, like that. Hold on, bounding box instead, to keep it in the center. Alright, and then press S and then scale this in a little bit more to have that slope even more. I think that's better. That is way much better now. So now we're going to select these faces here, I mean just this face here, press X and delete that face. Alright, so now this is what we have right now. We're going to add in multiple edge loops here to define this curve over here. First, let's add in the first edge loop. So press Ctrl R and let's align it with the left side. So press E to align it with the left side, not the right side. And then we bring that about here, like this. And then we're going to add in another edge loop right in the middle here. Press Ctrl and R, left click and then right click, like this. Maybe I should send it up a little bit, so press G twice and let's move it up a little bit, like that. And I'm going to select these two, enable merge, and then press G twice, slide it down and release and disable merge. We're going to do the same thing with this as well. So select the whole thing all the way to the back by holding down Alt and clicking on the edge. We're not moving this, so we're going to deselect that, enable merge, press G twice and then slide it up like that to keep it in. Alright, so I think we should slide this down a little bit more. I was wrong. So press G twice and then slide it down just a little bit more, like that. So this is what we have now. So here's what we're going to do. We are now going to select this edge here, this edge right here, these two vertices, and we're going to move this up, and we're going to go to the front view, so the front of the cutout here. So just go to the front and then press E and then Z to extrude down in the Z axis, like that. Alright, and now select this vertices here, press Shift and S, say cursor to selected, and then send your pivot point to the 3D cursor. Select those two again, press S and then Z, and then press 0 on your numpad to straighten it out with these ones, like that. So we're going to do the same thing here. Hold on. Delete these vertices and then select these ones. These three instead. Press E and then Z. Press S and then Z. And press 0. And press enter. Like that. Right? Once you're done, take these right here, these 4, and press F, like that. So we're now going to select these 3 and try to keep this consistent like the others. So we're going to move on to the side and I'm going to press G Again, let's change this back to boundary box or median point. So boundary box, and press G and X, and move it in the X axis like that until this one matches up with that one over there, like this. Okay, let's move it a little bit more. G and X, and now you can see they're both parallel like that. So with that, let's enable no, hold on, let's fill these faces first. So let's add in another edge loop here, and then select this 4 and press F. Let's make it straight by sliding this a little bit like that. Now let's select this 4 and press F. So we filled up the whole face like that. Now let's enable the subdivision surface now. So now all we have to do now is to add in supporting edge loops. But in this case, we're not going to use supporting edge loops. We're not going to add in supporting edge loops. We're going to use a modifier to do this, to define the edges. And this modifier is known as the bevel modifier. That's right. This time we're going to do it automatically and not manually. So with the bevel modifier applied, set it to weight, and then get in here and select the edges where you want to bevel. Okay, so this is one of them, this is another. For now, let's disable the subdivision so we can select them easily. So that end, this end, we want to bevel this as well, all the way to the back. We want to bevel this, bevel that. Besides, yeah, and this one, no, this one is excluded, and also these edges are not included. Deselect them like that. And this one as well, like this. Press N on your keyboard to bring up the properties panel, scroll up, and here you can see the edges data, mean bevel weight. Increase it to 1 like that, to have the bevel modifier affect only those edges like that. But the amount we have isn't enough, and the number of segments we're using isn't enough, so change the segments to 2 to add in an extra one, and change the width to something a little more smaller, about point. Let's bring up the other object, so Alt and H to bring it back, and we can take a look at that and bevel this. So I think 0.1 actually works right. Let's smooth this out by pressing T. Make sure your object is selected, press T, and then select smooth shading. So enable subdivision surface now. Move bevel weight, move bevel above subdivision like that. And I think that is enough. Bevel 0.1 is enough, so we'll keep it at 0.1 for now, like this. And let's move the whole thing up a little bit to create the gap between this and then the one at the bottom. So press G or use the arrow, hold down Shift for precision movement, and move it up a little bit to create just a tiny gap between it and the one below it, like that. So with that done, we want to define this curve here a little bit more. It's spreading way too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this edge here, not all the way to the back, but we'll select that edge all the way to here, and we'll deselect these ones, right? And we'll press G twice. Okay, that wouldn't work. So here's what we're going to do. Let's add supporting edge loops to this side and that side first. So press Ctrl and R, press E, and then F. Add one here. Press E, add one here, like that. So I think that worked. So that gave us the result we needed, like that. With that done, we want to create the ripples that are in here. You can see there's a sort of bumps in here, right here. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to space this. We're going to leave this there like that, and then we're going to add in multiples like this to sort of match the space we have over here, like that. So left click and then right click, like that. I bet that is too much. That is too much, but let's try to reduce it. So say 5 cuts should be enough, like that, I think. Yeah, I think so. So let's select these faces now. These that this and hold on. You know what, let's forget those. We'll make it in the next video.